Hello everyone. We're from Group 4, and today we're gonna do a presentation about centralized database system. But before we start, we're gonna know what is centralized database. Okay, so centralized database is run on a single computer system. On a server, it can be single user or multi-user. Single user database are simple and support basic functions, while the multi-user database require more advanced features such as concurrency control and crash recovery. Despite the availability of distributed systems, centralized databases are still widely used because they are easier to manage, update, and maintain, especially for a small and less complex institutions. Okay, there is two types of centralized database system, which is single user system and multi-user systems. In single user system, it is normally used by one person. Its concurrency and recovery process is simple. It is commonly used in a personal computer or standalone application where only one user accesses the database at the time, nor like the multi-user system, which is it is used by many users. It has better concurrency and control recovery. It is commonly used in organization where like multiple users need to access and update data at the same times. So why is centralized database still exists? Okay, there is 4 points. Because of the simple design. Uh, because the simple design, straightforward architecture reduce the development system and complexity, not needs to distribute coordination or data partioring. And it's commonly used, still widely used in a small business, academic system, local government, and legacy applications. And also, it's easy to manage. All data reside in one place, making backups, updates, monitoring simpler for administrator. And also, it's good performance. With a fewer current users, a centralized system can deliver fast and reliable response system or response time. Now, my friend gonna explain the architecture.
So there is for architecture. Number one is data stored in one central location. The second is all user access the same database. The third is central by a single DBMS. And the fourth is communication happens through a network. Next. So for the component of a centralized database system, number one is central server. The core hardware where all data is stored and all database operations are executed. The number two is database management system or DBMS, software that interact with the user application and the database itself to capture and analyze data. Number three is centralized database or storage, the SQL or logical repository where all structured data is kept. Number four is network, the communication infrastructure enabling client system to connect to the central server. Number five is database administrator or DBA, the human expert responsible for the system overall health, security, and performance. The last is client system or user, the end user device or application that access and interact with the database. Next. There is data flow and operation. Number one is user send a request. A user on client system send a command over a network to central server. The number two is network transmit the request. The request travel through the network. If the network is low or down, access to the database is impossible even if the server is working. Number three is the BMS access central storage. The DBMS reads from or writes to the centralized database storage. All data is stored in one location, so updates are immediately available to all users. Number four is result send back to user. The DBMS prepare the result and send it back through the network to the client system. The last is user receive the result. The client system display the result, completing the operation.
Okay, let's see the advantages of the centralized database system. So there's a 5 main advantages, and the first one is it is easier security control, which means because all the data is kept in one place, security is easier to manage, and also the same security rules can be used for everyone. And it is easier to control who can access the data and to check the activities. This also helps protect important and sensitive information better. And the second one is simpler administration. Managing one database is easier than managing many databases in different places. Admin only need to handle one system. Things like adding user, giving permissions, updating software, and improving performance are simpler. And then also this helps reduce extra work and confusion. And the third advantage is lower initial cost. Centralized database systems typically require less hardware and simpler software license and fewer specialized skills to set up and maintain compared to the distributed architecture, and which leads to sustainable cost saving for the organizations. And the fourth one is the database system is easier to backup and recover. So backing up their whole database is much easier, and if the data is lost or the system has a problem, it is simpler to recover it. And there is no need to manage backup for many different places, so the disaster recovery became faster and less confusing. And the last one is the database is consistent and the data is accurate. So by eliminating data replication across multiple locations, centralized database naturally reduce the complexity associated with the maintaining data consistency. And all users access the same single version of the truth, which ensure high data accuracy. And next, okay, and let's see the limitations and challenges. So the first one is single point of failure. The more critical vulnerability, if the central server fails, the entire system becomes inaccessible, leading to downtime and potential data loss. And the second limitation is performance bottlenecks. So as the number of the user or the volume of the data grows, a single server can become overwhelmed. And this leads to slow query execution, increased response times, and a degraded user experience due to the resource contention. And that limitation is scalability issues. So scaling is central, like database system typically involve two scaling. The first one is vertical scaling, which is about upgrading hardware on the single server. And this one is expensive and had practical limits. And the second one is a horizontal scaling, which is about adding more servers. But it is not naturally supported by this architecture without significant re-engineering. And the last one is network dependency. All client-server communication relies on a stable fast network. So that's why any network outage or significant latency can render the database unstable for remote clients and which impaired business continuity. And next, which is about the scalability limitation, will be explained by Nawra.
So let's break down about scalability limitations of centralized database system. In centralized database system, the limitations are that all data and processing depend on a single server. Vertical scaling is limited by hardware capacity. Server upgrades are costly and disruptive. Performance degrades with too many concurrent users. Large datasets slow down queries and maintenance. Not suitable for high growth or large-scale applications. Less flexible than distributed horizontal scaling. Next. For the use cases and applications of centralized database is that it can be used for small businesses. It helps small businesses store all operational data in one centralized place, and so this improves efficiency and supports faster decision-making with real-time insights. The second application would be university academic system. It used to manage student records, courses, grades, and faculty information in a single system. It improves data consistency and supports academic planning and administration. And the last application would be for a local library. It used to manage book collections, loans, and member records efficiently. It depends heavily on the central server and may face performance issues as data grows. So in conclusion, centralized databases are still relevant because it is best for simple, small, and controlled environment. A centralized database is easy to manage, but is limited in scalability. This system is not ideal for large, fast-growing system, but it is ideal for small business system. So thank you for listening. That's all from Group 4.